Back at it again, man. We got a lot to discuss today. Jets OTAs are underway. Mekhi Becton had quite a bit to say about the football team. Give me 1 second. We're going to connect the audio. Be right back, folks. We're going to get the show started. Hold on.
Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and I am back at it again. I'm back at it again, man. All right. I'm back at it again. Boy, do we have quite a bit to talk about today. Let me tell you. A lot of things going on. Mekhi Becton speaking about knee injuries and also saying that the Jets made no sense for the Jets to move him the right tackle. We're going to be discussing that. Jets OTAs going on as well. Okay, we're going to be just talking about that as well. We have quite a bit to discuss about the roster. So, listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. All right. We have a lot of fun. Do a lot of different things. All right. I'm also on Twitter as well, at The Long Beach Joe, at The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. Okay. Go ahead and follow me. I'll follow you right back. You want to troll me? You know what it is. I'll troll you right back as well. Okay. Have a blast, man. Also, for those of you that do not know, your boy is live. We live stream the show. We have a lot of fun doing that. Salutes to all the savages in the chat. How about them Jets? I see you. Salutes to everybody else, all the savages. You want to know why I call my chat the savages? Because they're savage. Savage. I'm talking about nobody's safe, man. Not even me. If they don't like your takes, all right? If they don't like your takes, they will let you know. It doesn't matter who you are, all right? So salutes to all the savages out there. You know, we have a lot of fun live streaming the radio show. I know a lot of people don't know that until they run into my channel, okay? And then they go, whoa, Joe, you're looking good. You look great. Handsome, great takes. You know, I want to thank y'all for that. You know, thank you. I'm not a guy that's cocky. I'm not arrogant. I'm just a regular dude. You know what I'm saying? Just a regular dude. So, you know, I'm just out here working with what I got. But if you want to come on by, check out the Savages, check out everything that we're doing over here, come on over to YouTube. Type in Long Beach Joe Jets, Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. All right. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Also, give the videos a thumbs up. Give the stream a thumbs up as well. All right. Salutes to everybody on Blog Talk Radio as well. You know, show goes up there too. Blog Talk Radio /The Long Beach Joe Show. I'm also on iTunes as well. Come on over to iTunes, type in The Long Beach Joe Show on iTunes, subscribe to the podcast, and leave me a rating. 5 stars, okay? I want to thank everybody that does that. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you folks think about what I'm doing here, okay? I always appreciate y'all feedback, all right? Now, we have quite a bit to discuss. Again, we're going to be talking about Mekhi Becton, things that he had to say. You know, this past couple of days ago, you know, he sat down with Bob Glauber and had quite a bit to say about his knee injury. He moved to right tackle, discussing all the things that happened that last offseason. We're also going to be talking about Quinnen Williams, OTAs, you know, Aaron Rodgers, all of it. But before we get there, all right, everyone knows that I am a big Jets fan, right? It's pretty obvious, isn't it? Right? I run a show. I talk about the football team. You see these two guys right next to me, Sauce, Aaron Rodgers. I love this team through and through. But what a lot of people don't know is that I'm not from the East Coast. I'm not. I know that there's a Long Beach on the East Coast. That's not the Long Beach that I'm from. From the Long Beach on the West Coast. From the Long Beach that is in California. Grew up on the West Coast, loved it. My whole life been there. All right. But often I run into fans all over the place, right? That aren't from California or aren't from New York, or have moved all over the place, right? And they love this team through and through, and I love connecting with them. There's a lot of fans that are Jets fans that love the team that are not in the area that the Jets are playing in. And so they often congregate, come together, and show their love for the team. And tonight we're going to have, a great man, Robert of the Orange County Jets fan club. He's going to come on and he's going to talk to us about what they're doing and how they gather and show their love for the football team. Robert, I want to thank you for coming on the Long Beach Joe Show tonight. How are you feeling, my friend?
Hey, Joe. Thanks for having me on again. I'm doing really well today. I guess this is the third year that I've been on the show with you, and needless to say, I would say going into this year, we're a little bit more optimistic than we've been the last few years.
Yes, we are. Yes, we're going to get into that, Robert. We're going to get into that. But as I was saying before, I love this team. Everyone, once people learn that I am not from the East Coast, they always ask me why the Jets. I've been through the suffering. I've been through the pain, the anguish. Things are looking up now. But people always say, why the Jets, Joe? Why do you love this team? And I always have to explain to them how I came to love this team. Can you give us your story? What made you become a fan of the New York Jets, Robert?
Well, first and foremost, I'm from New York City, so they were one of two local teams, obviously, growing up, and just like in LA, we have multiple teams in each sport in the New York City metropolitan area. When I was a kid, the Giants were going through a very, very long dry spell and weren't very good. The Jets and the Mets, for that matter. It came about in the early 60s, and both teams won championships pretty much early on in their existence, which kind of solidified their fan. So I actually became a Jets fan before they won the Super Bowl. I'm one of the only people in our group here in Orange County that actually remembers them winning the Super Bowl because I'm an old dude. I was 11 when they won the Super Bowl.
Whoa, okay.
So yeah, I gravitated towards them. I guess I liked the name. I know it sounds kind of silly. I guess I like the name. In my mind, I was a Yankee fan first. That was my dad's team, and that was the first team I ever heard of. And for some reason, I thought that the American Football League had some kind of connection with the American League in baseball. So that was also part of it. But of course, in '69, when they did win the Super Bowl, that solidified me for life. And actually, the very next year, the last year that they were in the AFL was the first year that I started going to games. It actually was at the playoff game against the Kansas City Chiefs in December of 1969, which was when they were eliminated. And of course, we've been waiting ever since for them to get back.
Yeah, it's been quite a bit, but again, things are looking up. They are looking up. Now, you talked a little bit you talked a little bit about your fan club. You're one of the older guys there. I don't like to say older. I like to say seasoned. Okay, seasoned by life. That's what I like to say. Seasoned by life. You're one of the guys that is the most seasoned, by life. One of the guys that is one of the most seasoned by life there, right? But how did your fan club come about? What made you want to gather all those Jets fans together and just come together and love the football team the way you folks do?
Yeah, I actually can't take credit for that. So it was, I would say, back in the late 90s, kind of when the internet started becoming more popular. I hooked up on a website, jetsinsider.com. Shout out to Sean Deegan, who ran that, and he had a list of bars throughout the country that Jet fans could go to. Now, New York is a large metropolitan area, and there are a lot of people from New York that live pretty much anywhere across the country now. So we kind of started out slowly. I used to go to a bar in Huntington Beach called Out of Bounds, which oddly enough is still around all these years later. And I managed a couple of fans there. And I guess, through the internet and through the websites and IG and Facebook and everything through the years, we kind of got together. I would say about 2010 or so, somebody else came in the group and wanted to kind of organize people to get together and go to a certain bar. And, we've kind of done that pretty much, I don't know, for the last 10, 11, maybe even 12 years. The last few years, I'm saying the last 4 or 5 years, we've been over at Dave and Buster's, which is in the city of Orange. They've been very good to us. Again, we bounced around. Oddly enough, Joe, there was a bar in Long Beach called the Green Dog.
Yes, I remember.
And the owner was a big Jets fan, and yeah, that's kind of where a lot of things kind of started. And then from there, when the Green Dog ended up closing down, we've kind of moved around. But we've been at Dave and Buster's now for a while. Mario, who heads the group, does a really good job organizing everything. He's like you. He's not from New York, but he's a Jets fan. And, that's the way the NFL is, more so than any of the other sports. So there are a lot of people that root for a lot of teams in a lot of different cities.
Yes. Can you give all of my listeners the actual directions as well, or the actual address to the where you folks meet the Dave and Buster's?
Boy, I'm not sure if I have the exact address, but it's at the Outlets of Orange.
Okay.
So we're like a stone throw from Angel Stadium. The Outlets of Orange has, that literally seems like 1,000 stores, and there's more than one type of bar to watch football there. But they've got a very nice facility there. It's very popular on the weekends, obviously, not just for sports, but for the kids and the games and everything. So it's pretty. If you just look at, you can just Google it, and you should be able to get the location fairly easy.
Yes, absolutely. Now, again, we're speaking to Robert of the Orange County Jets Fan Club. Now, Robert, there's a lot of things moving and shaking in California. Like you said as well, there's a lot of teams here. I'm often harassed by Raiders fans, Niners fans, sometimes even the bandwagon Chargers fans when they see me and I'm walking around in my green and white jersey. I'm just representing the team that I love, and I gotta hear, you guys are losers, and we've done this and we've done that. Not so much of recent, because again we've made some improvements, but definitely people have things to say when they see you in a Jets jersey. Now, for you, what is it like being a Jets fan in your local area right now?
Well, as I said, there's a lot of people that are a lot of fans of a lot of different teams. So, unlike, let's say, baseball where the Dodgers are supreme, or in basketball where, almost everyone is a Laker fan, not everyone, even when they were here, not everyone was a Rams fan, and not everyone was a Raiders fan either. So, we have a decent fan club. As a matter of fact, I represent all the time. I was just rocking my Sauce Gardner jersey just the other night. So I was walking around with that, and people sometimes say something. Every once in a while I'll run into somebody that has Jets hat on or something. I always make a comment. Yeah. But there's so many people that root for so many different teams now. It's not just one team, and now it's the Jets. Obviously ascending and getting better. That bandwagon may open up a little bit more.
Now, Robert, we've talked to you quite a bit about the fan club and everything that you folks are doing there in Orange County. That's wonderful. But I want to talk to you a bit about this team. All right. As you talked about, there's a lot of things are looking up for us. And I think one of the biggest acquisitions that we've had in a long time, right? The biggest acquisition that we've gotten this free agency or this offseason was Aaron Rodgers. Being able to complete the trade and make him a New York Jet, right? Not only that, but him wanting to come here, him wanting to quarterback this team, him wanting to change this franchise, and really move us up in trajectory has been huge as well. What are your thoughts on seeing Aaron Rodgers in a Jets jersey? How are you feeling about Aaron Rodgers being a Jet?
Well, I feel pretty good about it, but I'll reiterate the back page of the New York Post that said "Pack to the Future," meaning here we go again. It was not that long ago that the Brett Favre situation went down, but back at the end of the year when the rumors started rumbling about this, I was all in. I've watched Aaron Rodgers obviously from Cal to his time with the Green Bay Packers. And, even though he doesn't have the same resume as Tom Brady or other quarterbacks that have won multiple Super Bowls, he always, to me, passed the eye test. He always looked like one of the best quarterbacks you'd ever see.
Yeah.
His footwork is good. His arm strength is undeniable. And he seems to know the game pretty well. The experience that he is taking into that locker room, other than just the skill level he's going to bring, that's going to be immeasurable. Already reading today at the OTAs, he likes to cross his T's, dot his I's. Little things go wrong, he stops and wants to make sure it's corrected, and they do it right. So it's just a big one. It's almost hard to believe, because we've certainly been kicked around enough over the last, especially the last several years, that we haven't been in the playoffs. And things are definitely looking up. And I'm there are few people that aren't on board with the acquisition, but from day one, I said, this is the move. You have to make this move at all costs.
Yeah.
The team they were the number 4 rated defense in the league last year.
Yep.
And all they needed, they had him last year, they'd have won 5 more games. Now, every year is different, and the dynamics of each team changes from year to year. But, boy, going into this year, it certainly looks like they got a legit shot. And, I should point out that they are the 6th betting favorite to win the Super Bowl in, not just Nevada, but all the other legal sports entities throughout the country. So there's only 5 teams that have shorter odds than they do to win the Super Bowl, and we haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. You spoke the absolute truth. I'll tell you what, even, our owner, Woody Johnson, talked about it, just the quarterback being the missing piece. And boy, did they land the big fish. This is a guy that has it all. And he not only does he have it all, like you spoke about as well, he's been to where we're trying to get to. He's won a Super Bowl before. He's a guy that's made multiple, pushes in the playoffs. He knows what it takes to be there. And just hearing about him, like you spoke about as well, hearing about him sitting down with guys, breaking down things in the film room as well. Hey, he'll stop the session and say, hey, look, point this out. He understands how detail plays into winning in this league, the attention to detail, making sure you get things right, stopping stuff, and make sure the guys know where they need to be. So that's huge. That's huge. And having him here, boy, it's going to do wonders for our offense. Now, speaking about offense, right, we've made some signings, guys like Alan Lazard. We've brought in Tim Boyle as well. There's been many free agent signings this recent offseason. For you, what are your thoughts about some of the guys that we brought in? Who was your favorite free agent that we signed this past offseason?
I definitely like the Lazard signing. I think that made sense on many levels to bring in somebody he's already familiar with. And, of course, now they're also bringing in Randall Cobb, where I think everyone kind of thinks he'll be more of a locker room presence, and he'll get some spot play from time to time. But just trying to bring that winning culture and that winning attitude over to the Jets, I think, is very important. But I definitely like the Lazard signing, and our wide receiver room is going to be really good this year.
Yeah, it is. It is. What are your thoughts about the draft? Because we also made some moves and got some guys in there as well. There's a lot of people that didn't like the Will McDonald pick. How'd you feel about it?
Well, we should have been talking about. We should have been to talk about. I think was it Broderick Jones?
Yeah,
who was the offensive lineman that they were looking at, and then all of a sudden our friends up in the Boston area pulled a little zinger with us and made a trade with Pittsburgh, and they took him. But overall, it's always hard to tell whether any of these guys are going to pan out. But I'll tell you one guy they got later on that I remember looking at this year who I really like. That's the cornerback from LSU, Jarek Bernard Converse.
Yeah.
6'1", 205. He was the 204th pick in the guy. He should have went a lot sooner than that. And I can't pronounce his name, but the running back from Pittsburgh, Israel Becton, I don't know. You might have.
Abanikanda.
You probably would know better than I do.
Abanikanda.
Abanikanda, yeah. I mean, that name will play in New York for sure. He's really good. He'll certainly help out the running game. So overall, look, you look at a lot of these guys and you see where they came and you see where they played, and you just hope that they can take that and transform their collegiate skills right into the National Football League.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Izzy, like you spoke about as well, he's a guy that oh boy, he's a guy that could end up really paying dividends for us pretty early. He's a guy to come out the backfield, catch the football. Of course, he needs to clean up, some things about his game, but that's every rookie. But he runs he's got some moves. He's a guy that's one cut can go. And let me tell you something. He's gonna be a load. He's gonna be a load to bring down because once he gets going, it's tough to tackle him. So I'm excited about him as well, being put in Hackett's offense, and also Joe Tippmann. The acquisition of Joe Tippmann was phenomenal. I like that draft pick too. A guy that can get up front. He's a fat boy. He's gonna push people around, get his hands on you. It's over. We're gonna see what happens. I think he's a guy that can end up taking the center spot as well from Connor McGovern, and also like Will McDonald, the pick of Will McDonald. Added pass rushers always needed in this league, especially when you look at some of the top-tier quarterbacks that we're going to be chasing this year. So, listen, Robert, it's been phenomenal speaking with you. This is a great conversation about the football team. Before I let you go, let my listeners know where they can get involved and how they can get in touch with you and the Orange County Jets fan club, and where they can go and how they can get in touch with you folks on social media as well.
Yeah, well, Orange County Jets fans, they have they have a Facebook page, and I believe an Instagram page as well. So all the information is there. As I said, Mario does a really good job putting all that together, so it should be pretty easy to find. It's amazing how many people show up Sunday to Sunday that never were in there before, and they say, hey, I was looking for a place to watch the game. I Googled it and found you guys. So we're real easy to find. So, yeah, we're really looking forward to a good year, and I'm excited about this season more than pretty much any in the last 4 years, because I haven't been back to the New York area, which, of course, as you know, is my hometown. And I do plan on going back to a game this year. I've circled the New England game, which is their second home game of the year. Oddly enough, one of their very few 1 o'clock afternoon games. That's, of course, 10 o'clock out here. Most of their games are now in prime time on Sunday night, so we're certainly getting there. So I'm really looking forward to getting back there and hanging out. My cousin and I, for years, used to have season tickets back in the day. I used to go back pretty much every year. But I got married 7 years ago, so life has changed a little bit for me. But I am looking forward to going back this year and hanging out with the Jets fans and hopefully seeing a big Jets win this time.
Yeah. I mean, we're expectations have absolutely been raised, especially with a lot of the things that we've been able to do this offseason. Listen, Robert, I want to thank you for calling in. I want to thank you for coming on the show. It was phenomenal speaking to you. You have yourself a good night, my friend.
You too, Joe. And, Joe, you need to get to Orange and hang out with the Orange County Jets fans this year, okay?
Yes, I will. I'll try my best, and my schedule is wild. As everybody knows, my schedule is wild, but I'll definitely try to get down there. When you talked about the Green Dog as well, that brought back a lot of great memories. I used to slide by there when I could and sit down and enjoy, Jets games before they ended up closing down. But yeah, I will definitely try to get down there with you guys and enjoy a Jets game or two with y'all. All right.
All right, Joe. Good to talk to you. Go Jets.
All right, you have a good one. Go Jets. Again, that was Robert of the Orange County Jets fan club. Phenomenal club. Everybody get involved with everything they're doing. Again, they meet at David Buster's in Orange. And again, you can go on their Facebook. Just go on Facebook and search Orange County Jets fan club. It'll pop right up. And get involved with everything that they do. It's a great group of Jets fans down there. They have a lot of fun. And, my schedule's wild. I'll try my best to get down there and enjoy a Jets game or two with them. A lot of fun. So now it is time to move forward, and we need to talk about the New York Jets. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers. All right. We're going to be talking about the Jets. We're going to be talking about OTAs really quickly. Everybody that's on the line, Steve, other callers as well, hold on. We're going to get to you guys in just a second. Now, as we know, okay, one of the big things that came out, right, we got OTAs going, but the situation with Mekhi Becton has gone up, all right? It's gone up, and he was able to come out and speak his mind, with the interview that actually was posted. Sat down with Bob Glauber of Newsday and spoke about, the injury that we saw last season with him. He also spoke about his, movement to right tackle and everything that happened the last offseason. As we know, Becton initially hurt his knee in 2021 when Greg Van Roten was thrown into the back of him, and he ended up missing the rest of that season. That happened in the first game. Well, 2022, we were all hoping that, he would come back. We were excited for him. I personally was excited for him. When everyone knows I love Mekhi Becton. I still do. I think he's phenomenal. But when he came back in 2022, that offseason, it was just marred with so many things. There was rumors about him being overweight, issues with the coaching staff, them feeling like there was, questions about his work ethic. There was questions about the knee as well. Some people were leaking reports about the stability of the knee. So many things swirling surrounding him. And then all of a sudden, boom, he goes down. Then he ends up fracturing his kneecap, and he ends up, subsequently missing the rest of the season. Now, there were reports that he was supposed to come back in 2022, but let me tell you something, that didn't happen. And there was a lot of times, especially when that time came about, Jets fans went off on him. I'm talking went crazy. Called him a bum. He's a bust. He's all these other things. But if you listen to people that were closer in his circle, especially a guy like Duke Manyweather basically came out, via social media when he was responding to fans that were attacking Mekhi Becton. And he said, listen, that knee injury, I don't know what, I don't care what was reported, okay, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically I don't care what was reported, okay, he was never coming back. That knee injury, and he was hinting at this, that the knee injury was worse than what was actually being initially reported when Becton went down prior to the season in 2022. So subsequently, we never saw Mekhi Becton come back, and then officially it was basically like 2 years he hadn't played, pretty much at all. Now, with that, kind of in the past here, we've seen that Mekhi Becton has been looking phenomenal. And there's big questions surrounding him because, again, the New York Jets did recently void his fifth-year option. And, he'll pretty much be a free agent after the season. Now, there's things that the New York Jets can do to retain him. Of course, franchise tag, possibly sign him to a deal. All those things could be worked out. But that fifth-year option is done, okay? They, decided to void it, and so now he's moving forward. And so with so many things surrounding him, this interview comes out, and he goes, they spoke about a lot of different things, his motivation, how much better he is mentally, how much better he is physically. But when talking about the New York Jets and the injury and the move to right tackle this last season, this is what he said. He said directly, "It made no sense to put me at right tackle. I hurt my right knee. That was going to be the knee that I put the most pressure on, right? While he's backpedaling in pass protection." He said that he explained it to the coaches, but no one cared. Becton also said that his knee didn't feel right in training camp last year, and on the day he was injured, the end result was another season lost, okay? So right there, he's telling you, hey, look, I was trying to tell people my knee's jacked up here. Doesn't feel right. You got me on the right side, my knee's jacked up, and then boom, the day that my knee, ended up giving out and buckling, I was trying to let everybody know, but nobody cared, right? We'll talk about that in a second. He also said, I got forced to play a position I don't play, right tackle. I was pretty much telling them I wasn't feeling good the whole time throughout camp, and I was told I shouldn't be complaining. Go out there and do it. That's what the coaches told him. I was limping throughout the whole practice, and I just took a step, and my knee buckled. I got hurt again and had to have reconstructive knee surgery. Woo! Right? Wow. Wow. Okay? Now, when I look at this situation, and we'll get to the callers in a second, I look and I say to myself, okay, I can look at it at both sides. I look at the coaching situation, and I can say maybe they thought to themselves, with this guy, there's some issues, some things going on here. We understand he's coming back from the knee injury, but now he's being moved to right tackle. He may be upset about that, and he's just trying to worm his way back into being a left tackle. Again, keep in mind, they had given the left tackle position to George Fant at that time, and Mekhi was being moved over. So maybe they looked at it like, hey, there's a lot of things going on here. He's just complaining. Bro, just go out there and play right tackle. That's what we need you to do right now, make it happen. But then you also look at it from Mekhi Becton's situation, his side, and you're saying, hey, if a guy's telling you that his knee's jacked up, right? He's telling you his knee's jacked up, maybe you should listen to him. Maybe you should go get that checked out, especially when he's a guy that you have so much invested in. Again, keep in mind, Mekhi Becton is a first-round pick. That's quite a bit of capital to give up to move, to give up to grab a guy, right? We took him in the first round. That's big capital, all right? So when I look at it, I said, hey, the past is the past. We're moving forward now, right? And Mekhi Becton has worked his butt off to get into a great position. He's in phenomenal shape, as we've all seen. He looks lean, mean, trim, and he credits that to a lot of, the coaching and everyone that he has surrounding him now. Mainly the Parsi Speed School, which has helped him, kind of rebuild himself. He's talked about the new coaches, new people that he has in his life, and how they motivate him now, and how, his coach now came out and spoke about how Mekhi Becton's a good guy, great intentions, he works, but he may have just lost his way. That was the big thing. He may have just lost his way, and he was a guy that he could see, that Mekhi Becton just needed a coach. He needed someone to speak with him. He needed someone to sit down and help him through the situation. So Mekhi Becton, of course, changed his diet, right? A lot of caloric deficit, changed his diet, started to work out, a bit more, the workouts, the high intensity stuff that they're doing there, and they got him focused, right? And he's lost over 50 pounds now. He looks phenomenal. Again, we also got to remember just recently he tweeted, "I am a left tackle." All right. So we see that the confidence is there. We see that he's better mentally as well. He talked about that as well in the past, that mentally he's gotten better and he's feeling good. And even Sulla responded to the "I am left tackle" tweet as well, saying, hey, if you want the left tackle spot, go out there and grab it. The New York Jets have talked about how, they're going to go with their best 5. So it's exciting to see. I understand, and we're going to be talking about this tonight. You got to wonder with this situation. Again, Mekhi Becton's in a better place mentally. He's in a better place physically. He's a guy that's, I'm telling you, when Mekhi Becton fully healthy in a great mental space, I believe that Mekhi Becton is the best tackle on this football team, hands down. I think he's better than Brown. I think he's better than Mitchell. I think he's better than Billy Turner. I think he's better than all of those guys, right, as a tackle. I think that a healthy Mekhi Becton, mentally and physically, is one of the best tackles in all of football. And it's because we've seen it, right? We've seen it. Mekhi Becton was healthy that rookie year. He was phenomenal. I'm talking phenomenal. One of the top tackles in the league. And I'm not just saying that because I love Mekhi Becton and I'm a homer. I know a lot of people will say that. Well, Joe, you're just a homer. Joe, you just love Mekhi Becton. Oh, you're just one-sided, Joe. You just love, that's it. No. Let's be honest here, okay? Mekhi Becton was talked about by a lot of guys, analysts, right? A lot of, former football players, former top offensive linemen as well, right? Damian Woody came out and talked about this guy being a top lineman in this league. Highway 77, there's a reason why they called him that, all right? So I'm excited to see Mekhi Becton come back. We'll see what happens going forward. He's going to compete. He wants that left tackle spot. He's letting it be known. And we're going to see what he's going to be able to do. But it's wonderful to see him in a better space mentally and a better space physically. All right. And again, this is a big year. This is a big year. A big year for him, especially, again, with the 5th-year option being voided. He's going to have to go out there, prove it, earn it, and get it done. And I believe that he'll be able to do that. So we'll continue to talk about that. I know that there's a lot of people that don't, a lot of fans that are all over Mekhi Becton. And listen, I understand that perspective. Okay. Ronald Perry salutes to him. He says Becton is a liar. There's a lot of folks in the chat going back and forth. All right. That are absolutely, going after it. So I understand. Salutes to the savages. I get it. There's a lot of people, that don't like Mekhi Becton and think that he should just shut up and just go play. And I get that. Okay. But, he definitely came out and spoke his mind about a situation, and we're going to see what happens going forward with him. Also, OTAs continue as well. Today we saw quite a bit. Aaron Rodgers ended up tweaking his calf. Some people say it was also like an ankle tweak as well. He did end up, taking a day. He was still out there on the field, so everything is looking good. Nothing looking too crazy, but he did take a day to kind of take a step back, but he was still out there on the field. All right, so he's going to be all right. Thank goodness. Whew, we dodged something. Lazard also got banged up a little bit as well. He looked like he was on the ground hurting for a little bit, but he was able to bounce back as well, get himself back on the field and continue on. We're hearing a lot of positive things about Zach Wilson too, okay? Zach Wilson's going out there and he's looking solid. I know a lot of people wanted to bury him, and I talked about this situation for Zach Wilson really being something that can help him, help grow him, and help him get better, right? He's being put in the perfect position. Here's his hero, Aaron Rodgers, who he has a great rapport with. They do talk often, right? We saw that when we did joint practices with them. Here's the guy that he looks up to the most, coming into a situation to help him, right? He's going to be quarterbacking the team. He's also got an offense that he basically built along with the offensive coordinator, which is Nathaniel Hackett. And he's going to be able to sit down with Zach Wilson and teach him the ins and out of not only the offense, but NFL life, how to continue to ready himself as a pro and become better. What better situation could you be in, right? They've all often talked about recently that what could have helped Zach Wilson the most was getting him a veteran quarterback that could have stood in front of him for a little bit, and maybe they could have sat him down and he could have learned where here we are in a great position, where the pressure is off you, the load is off you, and all you have to go in is all you have to do is come in, learn, practice hard, get better, and then when your time comes, because eventually, it's probably going to come, where they're going to hand, the leadership ball back over to Zach Wilson, you're going to have the time to go out there and show us what you've learned and show us if you can be the guy. It's great stuff for Zach Wilson. And we're hearing a lot of positive news about him going out in the OTAs and really putting things together. So that's wonderful to hear as well. We're also hearing a lot of great things from other players, too, about Aaron Rodgers, right? We're hearing from C.J. Uzomah talking about how Aaron Rodgers is in the film room with these guys helping to break down. We're hearing about the attention to detail that Aaron Rodgers is showing as well on the field, off the field, where he'll stop things and say, listen, hey, we got to get this together. We got to clean this up. He'll stop the film and show guys, hey, this is where you should be. This is the attention to detail we need. That is leadership, right? We talk about the Aaron Rodgers on the field, everything that he can do, all the throws he can make, all the quick processing that his mind goes through. But it's also the off-the-field stuff, the film room stuff, the attention to detail stuff that really heightens your football team, that gets your football team where it needs to be, okay? It's no mistake that this guy's been as good as he's been for so long. It's not a mistake. You don't get that good by just, I'm just moving around. I'm just using my arm to throw the football. No, he's got it upstairs. C.J. Uzomah talked about him being an intelligent guy as well and understanding. His football IQ is off the charts. You don't get there by just standing around. You get there by doing the work. And I understand a lot of people talk about the physical part of football. Football is a very physical sport. But you'd be surprised how much of football is mental. Knowing where you need to be, knowing what the opposing defense wants to do to you, and understanding how to take advantage of that, okay? Believe me, we've seen it here. Chad Pennington was not the most physically gifted quarterback. That's why he's one of my favorite Jets of all time. He was not the most physically gifted quarterback. He didn't have a huge rocket arm. He wasn't the fastest, right? He damn sure wasn't Michael Vick. He was none of those guys. But guess what? He was able to go out there and take care of business. Why? IQ. Football intellect. He understood exactly what you wanted to do. He understood how you wanted to attack him. And guess what he would do? Take advantage of you. And even with the lack of a big arm, he was always able to get the ball in there accurately. Get the ball into the hands of his running backs coming out the backfield, tight ends, wide receivers, whatever. He was going to hit you in stride and keep it rolling. Because of what he was doing pre-snap, he was able to diagnose things. So it's wonderful to hear about the leadership aspects and all the things that we're hearing about Aaron Rodgers coming in here. Again, the calf seems like it's going to be okay. We got to that's one of my big fears this offseason. We'll get to the calls in a second. It's one of my big fears this offseason, all right? Watch the injuries, okay? I need to see the New York Jets go into OTAs and training camp and all that stuff and come out healthy. It's one of the things that's plagued us these last couple years, all right? Anybody remember, right? We lost Carl Lawson in the offseason. Mekhi Becton, we lost him in the offseason as well, right? We've had this stuff these past couple years where we get banged up a bit in the offseason trying to go. I remember ATV got injured as well in the offseason. Quentin got hurt in the offseason before. Nagging injuries. I need to see us, okay, go into OTAs, training camp, all this stuff healthy, come out healthy, and make sure everything's good after that, all right? We've had that before, okay? I don't want to see that happen again. We're also going to be discussing Quentin Williams as well. Still not signed that extension. Trying to figure things out. Coach Sella did speak about, not being worried about it and that they'll get it done. I'm hoping that it gets done. Again, Quentin Williams not at OTAs. He's already told us that he's not going to be at any voluntary anything until, things get sorted out with his extension. I'm hoping it gets done. And I know a lot of people are saying that they're not worried about it. I'm not, necessarily panicking about the contract being done, but I will tell you this. I'm a little concerned about the amount of time that it's taking to get this situation panned out, right? Because what if this stuff starts to flow over into the mandatory stuff? I'm wondering if he skips that. And I know we'll cross that bridge when it comes, but I'm wondering, will he skip the mandatory stuff? And then, what happens if that plays all the way kind of deep into the mandatory stuff? Maybe we get him signed late. Is anybody concerned about, the football shape and him being completely ready for the season? We've seen that as well. Guys sign late, end up, straining a hamstring or getting hurt because they haven't been out there. So I'm a little bit worried, not panicking, but a little worried. It's playing out. But I know that Joe Douglas eventually will get this done. We'll also be talking about the Jets tight end position as well. All right. CJ Uzama, Tyler Conklin, so many guys, Jeremy Ruckert, Zach Kuntz is out there. So many guys. I'm wondering if the Jets tight end position will be more impactful under Nathaniel Hackett than it had been with Mike LaFleur. So we're going to get to the lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We are taking all callers. We have quite a bit to talk about. All right. We're going to come to the chat as well. Salutes to all the savages that are going back and forth. A Fung salutes to you. He says, LBJ, tell him. He says, dude is 40. I get a calf strain when I cut my lawn. Talking about Aaron Rodgers. He took a day. He said he took a vet day. So he, kind of eased on. All right. Take as many days as he need. I do not need to see Aaron Rodgers get something real crazy happening to him. All right. Straining your calf. All right. Just, take the time you need to heal up and get out there on the field. So we're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Please give the stream a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Also, share the stream with your friends and your family across your social media platforms. It's greatly appreciated. We're going to get to these lines. First caller I'm going to go to Steve. I'm going to go to Steve early. Salutes to you, Steve. Steve, welcome to the show. I want to thank you for calling in today. Listen, for those of you that do not know, Steve, he's a savage. Savage! Yeah, Steve's a savage. Salutes to you, Steve. I want to thank you for calling in. Listen, Steve, a lot of things moving and shaking. Mekhi Becton comes out and says that the New York Jets, or that it made no sense for the New York Jets to move him to right tackle. What are your thoughts about that, Steve?
Hey, Joe. Well, first of all, thank you again for having me on your show tonight. It's always great to talk to you, talk about this team and talk about, the situation we're in right now. So, yeah, I guess the first thing we could talk about is the Mekhi Becton situation. I mean, listen, I know Mekhi Becton has always said before in the past he doesn't feel comfortable at the right tackle position. He was always mostly a left tackle for most of his football career. But I know Robert Saleh did say, when Becton comes back onto the field, because obviously right now he is still doing a little bit of workouts on his own right now because they still don't want to rush him back because, of the injury he suffered last year. But Saleh did make a good point that, yes, he does have to earn it.
Yeah.
But here was the thing, though, which I will be very honest, and there is something that I am going to have to defend Mekhi on this part, on his part here. Because if you remember last year, there were a lot of times where some of the coaching staff on this team made a lot of mistakes last year. And if you do remember, Joe, what did happen after the 2022 season last year, unfortunately, we ended the season with a 6-game losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
you know what Coach Sala did? He fired some of those coaching staff members.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he actually literally he said, you know what, I need to make some changes with this coaching staff. I mean, obviously, you know, Mike LaFleur, he didn't get fired. He ended up stepping down as offensive coordinator. And, you know, like, and what Sala did was he did fire some of the coaching staff because, remember, and Mekhi even did say in an interview, I think it was a couple of days ago when he said this, he went to the coaching staff one day and he goes, hey, you know, why don't you do me a favor and let me rest one day? My knee isn't really, really good right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let me rest. And you know what the coaching staff decided to do, Joe? They decided to put him right back on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And he even said that. And if you did listen to that interview very, 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 very clearly, that's what Mekhi Becton said. And that was the reason why he ended up tearing his kneecap last year.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, look, like I said, I can see it from both sides, especially when you look at the situation where Mekhi's coming back. There was a lot of talk about him not being in the best shape, right? And maybe they looked at it, and I'm guessing, right? Again, I'm not on the coaching staff, but it's pretty clear to see that they looked at it like, hey, maybe this guy, again, there's a lot of things surrounding him, not in the best shape. He's coming in here. We've moved him from left tackle to right tackle, and maybe he's just trying to weasel his way back into being a left tackle. You know, that's George Fant's job. We decided to give it to him. We're moving forward. You're going to play right tackle. You're not going to get out of it. Just go back out there, right? Maybe that's how they looked at it, okay? And I get it, and I understand it, right? That's probably how they looked at it.
Yeah.
But from the other side, and we're talking about it now, Steve, what I don't understand, and you know, you brought up the question as well, was that if a guy's telling you that knee's jacked up and something's going on, I would have rather have had them check him out, see what was going on, and see if that knee was actually stable. And if it wasn't, or there was something, you know, clearly there was things going on there, but when they found that something was going on, I would rather you either sit him down or, you know, give him the time that it takes for him to truly heal up. But the past is the past now, Steve.
Yeah.
It is what it is, right? He's gone on. He's had his reconstructive knee surgery, and things are looking good, and I want to get your thoughts on that. What are your thoughts on how he's talked about how much better he is now mentally, how much better he feels physically as well, now that he's worked himself back into being in shape and he's looking phenomenal and looking focused? How do you feel about that, Steve?
Ever since you made a good point. Ever since he joined us in 2020, this is the best I've ever seen Mekhi Becton look, like without a doubt. Yes, Mekhi was definitely a little bit too big, you know, his rookie season, but he had a great rookie season with us in 2020. You know, listen, 2021, you know, he did still look the same, but then again, I still blame Greg Van Roten to this day from what he did to Becton, because remember, Van Roten was the main reason why Becton missed that 2021 season. You know, this is the best that he's ever looked. And, you know, I can't wait to see Mekhi get back on the field because Mekhi knows that this is his last chance this year.
Yeah.
He knows that this is his last chance to impress this Jets staff because if he doesn't, he's going to hit the free agency market next year, and the Jets are not going to re-sign him.
Yeah,
but
no,
now,
listen, hold on a second, Steve. Hold on a second,
Steve.
Steve. You're speaking absolute facts there. Again, when they declined that fifth-year option, you know, Mekhi Becton is really sitting here not only auditioning, you know, for the Jets. I'll tell you what, if Mekhi comes out and performs extremely well, and again, we'll see what happens going forward. They could franchise him. There's quite a bit that they could do. But if Mekhi comes out and plays well and the Jets want to extend him and they pass on the franchise tag, there's other teams out there that if he goes out there and really blows everybody's socks off that are definitely going to be vying for his services. If he wants to get paid, this is the year where he's going to have to show up and show out. And we're talking about them working with guys as well, right, and continuing going forward. You look at a guy like Zach Wilson, who's also going out there and showing his stuff too. There's been a lot of talk about him in OTAs showing a lot of positive signs, making throws on time, putting the ball on guys. He's also been talked about as well by Robert Saleh as a guy that has taken the situation with Aaron Rodgers come in extremely professionally. What are your thoughts about the great things that we're hearing about Zach Wilson and OTAs so far?
Yeah. Well, before I do talk about Zach, I do want to get to the Aaron Rodgers situation first. That obviously did happen today. So Aaron Rodgers today, the team came out, they were doing their warm-up, and all of a sudden we all find out that Aaron Rodgers apparently ended up suffering an ankle injury, and then there were rumors at first that happened that, he didn't put any weight on the ankle. Well, here was the thing. He was able to put weight back on the ankle, and then, oh, my God, here we go, all the Jet fans all going crazy, like, oh, my God, come on, like, seriously, Aaron Rodgers cannot have a season-ending injury already. But luckily, he did come out today. He had an interview after the OTA practice today. He told the media, listen, I ended up suffering a minor calf sprain. It ended up being a minor sprain, and he said, I just didn't want to take a chance going forward and continuing on practicing. I spoke with Coach Saleh. I told him that I can't practice for the rest of the day. And you know what Coach Saleh said? He said, okay, that is fine. Take the rest of the practice off, And the one thing that he did was today, Joe, now going to Zach Wilson today, he actually, what he does is, when they're in the indoor facility, and when they're having meetings, and let me tell you, CJ Uzama even came out today and said that Aaron Rodgers would stop Nathaniel Hackett when Nathaniel Hackett's going over plays.
Yep.
And Aaron Rodgers would actually tell him, guys, this is what we got to do. This is what needs to happen. This is what needs to do. See, this is one of the reasons why, Joe, why we have not been a good team for the last many years. We've never had an experienced offensive coordinator who is very, very offensive-minded like Nathaniel Hackett. And we also have, finally, a veteran quarterback that knows the game well in Aaron Rodgers. This is one of the reasons why we sucked for many, many years. Many years. And when Uzama came out and said, man, Rodgers is a true leader.
Yeah, he listen, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers has absolutely come out and, put his impact and his imprint already on this team. He's stepping up, like you said as well, with CJ Uzama, talking about it and with the media, talking about how Aaron Rodgers is going over details, which is extremely important, right? Now, I talked about it earlier. You don't get as good as Aaron Rodgers is if you're just sitting around, and you just go out there, I'll just go out there and, throw the ball around and we'll figure things out. No, he's paying attention to detail. This is the work that gets put in that leads to wins. It leads to what you see on the field, the production that you see offensively. Because in that field room and off the field, he's teaching guys how to be a better pro. And that's what I was speaking about as well with Zach Wilson. Here's a guy that is put in a great situation where he gets to learn from Aaron Rodgers, where he gets to learn, with the guy that literally helped build the offense with Hackett that he's running right now. This is the guy that sat down with Hackett and put the things together. And so the impact that it's going to have on Zach Wilson as well, I think is going to be tremendous because he's going to be able to go out there. And they talked about this as well, that, LaFleur talked about it before he was gone, and others have talked about it, how, hey, Zach Wilson could have benefited from that veteran hand, being on him before we put him out there on the field because maybe he wasn't ready. And we saw that. We saw the lack of decisiveness out there with the football. We saw him being slow with his reads, all those things, right? Well, now he's being put in a situation where he has his hero that's going to be able to guide him, that's going to be able to help him for these next, however many years until the situation is handed back over to him. So I love that, and I love that for Zach Wilson. Now, my next question for you, Steve, because we're talking about quite a bit here. You look at this situation, man, with Quinnen Williams. This extension still ain't done. All right, he's not there at the OTAs. Again, stuff is voluntary. How concerned are you about this situation lingering, Steve? And are you worried about Quinnen Williams possibly skipping things that are mandatory because we don't have something in place with him?
Listen, when I look at the situation with Quinnen Williams, listen, I understand in the situation where he's at right now, he wants to get paid. He does deserve to get paid. I do think that he will definitely get paid. If he doesn't get paid, like before when the Jets go on their vacation in June, I'm not going to really, really worry about that right now. And I'm not worried about it right now as of now. Mm-hmm. But I am going to say this. if Quinn Williams does not get his contract before training camp at the end of July, then that's going to be an issue. Because the thing is, we do need Quinn Williams for the team. Like, that's the last missing thing now the Jets need to get done right before when the season begins in 2023. We have to get Quinn Williams his contract. But I'm not worried about it right now and all that stuff. But the one thing that I did hear about it, Coach Saleh did say this today in his press conference, another one of the reasons why Quinn is taking off is it's not only just because of his contract situation, and I know that Coach Saleh did say that Joe Douglas and his staff are definitely working on getting the extension done. Quinn Williams is expected to be a dad.
Mm-hmm.
His wife is about to get ready to give birth. Coach Saleh did mention that today. Quinn Williams is going to be a father soon. Congratulations to him on that. So obviously, I hope things go well with Quinn Williams. But I guess now, Joe, just going back.
Hold on a second, Steve. Hold on a second, Steve. Hold on before we switch off. I wanted to go back. I want to stick with Quinn Williams for just a second with you because you brought up some good takes. But there's some Jets fans out there that look at the situation with Quinn Williams and think that if we give him the money that he's looking for, right, which there again is a lot of reported $24 to $25 million per. Again, it's just reports that are swirling out there. There's a lot of Jets fans afraid that if we give Quinn Williams that type of money, he could possibly turn into another Muhammad Wilkerson. A lot of people talking about, 1 year production. If we give him that money, he's going to be another Muhammad Wilkerson. Do you agree with that, Steve? Are you worried about that as well when it comes to them re-signing Quinn Williams?
No, honestly, I'm not going to say this right. I'm just going to say this right now. I don't think Quinn Williams would turn into another Muhammad Wilkerson. Quinn Williams to me is a much different person than Muhammad Wilkerson was. I mean, listen, because obviously we did see what happened, after when Wilkerson had that great 2015 season, and, he did end up getting the contract extension, and then obviously the next 2 years did not really pan out for him, and then we ended up letting him go after 2017. But, listen, I don't think Quinn Williams is going to be like a Muhammad Wilkerson, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But now I just, want to just get back to Zach Wilson really, really quickly. Mm-hmm. Because this is something also, too, just going back to what really, really should have happened back a couple of years ago when we did draft Zach Wilson a couple of years ago. We should have had already a veteran quarterback in the building on our team already. So therefore, the veteran quarterback, so Zach Wilson can learn. And the thing was, obviously, it didn't happen until we got Joe Flacco. And then, yes, Zach Wilson did learn from Joe Flacco for the last couple of years as well. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, to have a guy like Aaron Rodgers is definitely the kind of guy that Zach Wilson needs. And remember, when Zach Wilson, before he got drafted a couple of years ago, they asked him, which quarterbacks inspired you to become a quarterback? You know what he said in that interview? Yeah. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, yeah.
And now he's working with one of his idols that he grew up watching. Remember, Zach Wilson said he grew up watching Aaron Rodgers play when Aaron Rodgers was a lot younger in the day. And now he's actually, when he watches during the regular season, of what Rodgers does, Zach Wilson can get an idea now, and he can get his career revamped up. But Joe, just to end this, listen, we're right now we're at OTAs now. Hopefully everything continues to go good. If Rodgers needs to sit out of practice, let him sit out of practice. And then what he could do is teach all these young players.
Yeah. I mean, he's learned. He's definitely showing guys what time it is, and again, all the work that he's putting in off the field as well in that film room, making sure the guys know where they need to be, the attention to detail. We're going to see it pay dividends on the field. Listen, Steve, I want to thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. All right, my friend?
All right, no problem, Joe. Thank you so much and have a good night.
All right, you have a good one. Listen, Steve calling in with some fire. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking our callers. We're going to go to the Savages, okay, because I want to hear from y'all. Know a lot of people going back and forth. Salutes to Jets Turbulence in the building. Good to see you in here. He says, I love the route the Jets are taking with Zach. The full reset. No one will talk about him. He's going to absorb as much as he can from Aaron Rodgers. Love that he is quiet and not a distraction like Becton. It's big words. Big words about Mekhi Becton. I know a lot of Jets fans are going off on him. I've seen it. I've heard it. All right. But, yeah, Zach Wilson, as I've talked about, is in a great position. And I know that there was a lot of fans, and I remember this like it was yesterday, the second we acquired Aaron Rodgers. Heck, even before that, there were Jets fans talking about just don't even trade Zach. Just cut him. I remember it. People were saying, just cut him, Joe. Get rid of him. He's done here. And I said, hold on. Wait a second. The Jets staff has already told you from the coaching staff to Joe Douglas, everybody, they came out and said through hell or high water. Okay. That is their words directly. Through hell or high water, they're going to coach Zach Wilson and they're going to get the best that they possibly can get out of him before moving on from him. So, and again, you got to think, we drafted him very high, right? Joe Douglas is tied to him. That's our current general manager, all right? They saw something in that kid, right? They saw something in him, and we've seen the flashes as well too, but it's lacked consistency, right? So we need the consistency out of him, but he has the physical gifts. He has physically what it would take to make it in the NFL. It's the upstairs stuff. Okay, it's the in between the ears stuff. All right. So with Aaron Rodgers being able to come in and with them being able to put together, again, this is a system that is very much like the system we ran with LaFleur. And there was a lot of things that people talked about as well with him about the system being needlessly complicated. There was a lot of issues, with Zach Wilson kind of picking it up, figuring things out. And so, again, the New York Jets have moved on to him. They have Hackett in the building now. Maybe Hackett's a guy that's going to be able to simplify the system or put it in a perspective where Zach Wilson will be able to easily digest it. Will he be able to understand what's going on and be able to put things together and think a lot faster out there? And I also think that Aaron Rodgers, yet again, is going to aid in that digestion as well, too. He's already talked about it. He's already talked about making Zach Wilson's life great, off the field. He's going to help him so that he'll be able to put things together quicker. A lot of things about quarterback in the NFL, especially today, is getting the ball out of your hands quickly. That's what this scheme is all about as well. Getting the ball out of your hands quickly, hitting guys in space, and making sure that they can, move on and handle business, okay? Callers, I'll see you. We'll get back to you in a second. I think it's my guy, Val. Hold on, Val. We'll come to you in a second. I already know what time it is when he get up in here. He definitely going to have some takes. Salutes to all the other callers as well. We'll get to y'all in a second. We're going to continue with the chat here because the Savages are going off. NY Jets FL salutes. He says, Mekhi, please hit the field and play. Don't become a whiner. Ooh, a lot of people going back and forth, man. I know a lot of people not liking the situation with Mekhi. A Fung salutes. He says, yeah, you can't be guaranteed left tackle when you haven't played in 2 years. People talking they talk, man. People talking their talk, okay? And salutes to Jets Turbulence as well. He says, yes, and he's speaking on the Quinnen Williams situation. Yes, it has to worry every Jets fan a little bit. Again, we spoke a little bit earlier about a lot of people being concerned that Quinnen Williams is going to turn into Muhammad Wilkerson once we give him that money. And I understand, okay, Jets fans, I get the outlook on that, but it doesn't concern me at all. And here's why, right? I've been a Jets fan for a long time. We all have. There was a lot of things surrounding Muhammad Wilkerson at that time that wasn't just about what we saw on the field, right? Does anybody remember that Muhammad Wilkerson, during the time that Rex was here, all that stuff, they knew that he wasn't showing up to practices? He wasn't. He literally wouldn't show up to practice at all and still was allowed to play. You can go back and look that up. He wasn't showing up to practices, and he was still allowed to play. And not only was he not showing up to practices, he wasn't even getting any excuse. Like, he wasn't excused from practice at all. He just wouldn't show up. I believe there was a report that they threw him like a little party for his birthday at the facility. He didn't show up to that either. And that was during like a practice day. All right. So when you look at the situation surrounding Muhammad Wilkerson and all the things that we saw, right, the flame out and eventually we moved on from him, those things are not the same things that are surrounding Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams has been a stand-up guy since he's gotten here. He's been a guy that's played it straight since he's been here. He's been a guy that's put it together on the field since he's gotten here, right? He practices hard. He's a guy that's vocal. He's one of the leaders within the locker room. We've seen that as well. He was here during the Gaze era. Didn't bash the coaching staff, nothing. Just constantly said, hey, we're going to keep working. We're going to keep putting stuff together, okay? And I understand a lot of people talk about the production, the 12 sacks this season, all that stuff, and that's phenomenal, right? But you got to keep in mind that there was issues on the roster as well. Quinnen Williams has always shown flashes of being a good defensive lineman for us. We've always talked about his ability and the things that he can do here. But we've also lacked pieces to surround him. What was one of the things that we were extremely excited about when we brought in Carl Lawson? We were excited about it because we all said, oh, you can't triple team Quinnen Williams anymore. Anybody? I remember it like it was yesterday. The first thing that I said when Carl Lawson was brought in here was, you cannot triple team Quinnen Williams anymore. Now Quinnen Williams is going to be unlocked. He's not going to be the only guy that you have to focus on along our defensive line. That's literally what offenses were doing. Double and triple teaming him. How is he supposed to get anywhere? Nobody else was putting things together. Anybody remember when Carl Lawson got hurt the first year? Right? Anybody remember that when he tore his ACL? John Franklin Myers was supposed to be the guy to step up to fill that in. He would disappear often in games. Other guys as well supposed to step up and fill those in. They would disappear. We were struggling. So I understand people talking about Muhammad Wilkerson and giving him big money, but listen, you got to pay guys around here, okay? And just because other guys in the past haven't worked out, that doesn't mean that Quinnen Williams won't continue to play at a solid level for us and continue to put things together. All right, 12 sacks this year. I think he had 6 the year before and 7 the year before that. Quinnen Williams has shown us, man, that he can do solid things here. And again, when you pay guys like that, when you make sure that guys are taken care of, right? When you make sure that guys like this that you've drafted that have been in your facility, shown up and showed out, when you make sure that they're taken care of, that reverberates to the locker room. That shows these young guys like Sauce and Garrett Wilson, right? Guys that are really putting things out. That shows them, hey, when you show up and you play to the wall for us and you do things the right way, you don't go crazy like Jamal Adams, then guess what? We'll take care of you. And you will make sure that you remain a Jet. So we'll see how that goes. Again, the extension's not in place. I'm not panicking. Your boy Joe's not panicking. But I want to get it done sooner than later. All right. Salutes to all the Savages. We'll come back to the chat in a second. Okay. We'll come back to the Savages in a second. I know people are going crazy. We welcome all fans. We got Chiefs fans going in here crazy. Mecole Hardman's going to have a year for us. I know you may not want to hear that, but I'm expecting big things from that man as well. He's going to be the Weapon X within this offense. Boy, oh boy, I'm excited. Okay? I'm excited, baby. Listen, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. I am taking all callers. Okay? Please subscribe to the stream if you haven't. Hit that notification bell. Give the stream a thumbs up. All right? Also share the stream across your social media with your friends and your family. Okay? I do not allow cursing on my show as well for my new callers. Do not call in cursing. I'll get you out of here fast. I'm talking fast. Faster than Adam Gase. Get out of here. Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. I am so glad we moved on from him. Can you imagine if our offense was still ran by that man? Oh, I'm flushing him. Get him out of here. Man, you want to talk about ruining a quarterback. There's no one better at it than Adam Gase. Good Lord. 515-602-9639. We're taking callers. We're going to get to these lines. Next, I'm going to go to my guy, Val. Val, I'm coming directly to you. Ted, other callers will come to you in a second. Salutes to you, Val. I want to thank you for calling in. For those of you that do not know Val, he's a savage. Savage. Damn. Val, Savage, salutes. Listen, man, we're covering a lot of things.
Oh, big man, this is a different call. Man.
Oh, this is not Val. Is this my guy, Atlanta? Oh, my
Yes, sir.
goodness.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Salutes. My guy from Atlanta, salutes to you. Our wires got crossed here. I want to thank you for calling in. He's a savage as well. Listen, we're talking about a lot of things here, man. Mekhi Becton comes out, speaks with Bob Glauber about his knee injury, his switch to right tackle. What are your thoughts about what he had to say about the New York Jets moving him to right tackle and that it made no sense? How are you feeling about that, man?
He should want to be at the premier position. He should have that kind of confidence in himself. He should demand that kind of excellence. So I'm glad he's mad. Now, how much does that matter as far as in the building, to the coaching staff, to the administration, and everybody else? No. It's just like another Tuesday. Like, oh, okay, you were upset about that, and you spoke out. Okay, yeah, that's right. We'll see you at practice, and we'll see how your health is holding up when you will play. And I'm not saying that to discount like how that brother was feeling or what he had to say. I'm just being like just real about how these type of situations play out.
Yeah,
the only
business.
reason he's able to speak that way because of the draft capital they spent on him. He is a huge part of the investment of the team, and somebody who's looked at it as, if he returns to form, it could be a real valuable asset. So he can pop off every once in a while. Other people can't.
Yeah.
So salute to him, man.
No, listen, and I hear what you're saying. Like I said, business is business, and that's why, I understand he wants to be at left tackle, and he tweeted out, "I am a left tackle," but especially what we're seeing, we're going to go with our best five. But one of the things that I was a little concerned about was when he talked about the knee injury. Okay, when he talked about him talking to the coaching staff and telling them, "Listen, my knee is jacked up." And then basically saying, like, bruh, go out there and play right tackle. Stop talking to us. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think the Jets should have taken a bit more of heed with him and maybe, sat him down or even sent him to really get the knee looked at before? Because, again, right, he said the day that his knee got jacked up and he had to go, it was officially done. He fractured the kneecap and had to go get reconstructive surgery, that he had talked to them about that. What are your thoughts about that situation? Do you think the Jets should have been more cautious with that knee injury?
Yes, I do. As far as him being a human being, as far as like if this was private business, then this would be something to address. If this was like he worked for the post office or something like that, this is something that would have to be addressed.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what I think people discount as far as respecting how much these guys are putting their bodies on the line when it comes to NFL football, because that's standard operating procedure for NFL football.
Yeah.
To where it's like, okay, are you hurt or are you injured? And if you're not injured, they expect you to perform as if, nothing is wrong. Now, we can have an argument about whether that's wrong or right, and I think we all know that that's not right. But in that business, I mean, dude, I'm sorry, bro. Like, we can talk to locker room after locker room, and you'll get stories like that coming out of there.
Yep.
And it's because of what? That's the game that they're playing. It's a violent, physical game, and those injuries are going to compile on you.
Yeah.
Now, how bad those injuries are and what you can play through and what you can't, that's a conversation for somebody else, man. I can't have it without knowing the player and knowing everything else about him.
Yeah. No. Yes. Listen, and you brought up a great point. Again, Ted 917 will be coming to you in a second, but what you said, are you hurt or are you injured? A lot of people don't really know that is a question that is asked. Are you hurt and are you injured? Okay, those are two very different things, and they do expect you to go out there and perform. And like you said, we've heard across the league. I remember Ed Reed, I'll never forget this, where he was talking about the injuries that he had suffered, and he was even talking to his guys before they went out there on the field about how hurt he was, but he was still out there playing. And he was talking about it like crazy. It was wild. But yeah, you're expected to go out there and perform, especially at a high level, when you're a certain type of guy on the team. Now, my question for you is this, all right? Since we're discussing Mekhi Becton, this right tackle, left tackle, best five goes out there, right? But we've seen that Mekhi Becton has talked about not wanting to be right tackle. He thinks he's a left tackle. If Mekhi Becton doesn't end up winning the left tackle spot, do you think the Jets will put him back at right tackle, or do you think they'll just move forward and maybe slide Billy Turner over there? or somebody else. How do you think it plays out if he doesn't win the left tackle spot?
If he doesn't win the position battle, then he's going to be playing right tackle.
Okay.
I mean, it's tough to swallow, but no matter what, he has to remake his career. This year for him is about rejuvenation. Whether it's in this organization or another one, there are certain moments where you kind of have to play ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As far as giving a little bit and compromising with the organization, that's something he's going to have to do. But I can't see a situation where he's healthy and loses the position battle either.
Yeah.
Just to speak of his talent.
Yeah.
Because I think we've kind of forgotten how good that kid was those first few games and everything before he got hurt. So, sounds nice. You know what I mean? I refuse to do this, and yeah, okay. You can't make ultimatums as a player, especially a player coming back from injury.
Yeah. No, yeah. Listen, I hear you. Now OTAs is going on. We got a lot of things moving and shaking. We seeing Aaron Rodgers out there. There's a lot of talk about what he's doing and the impact that he's having right now, not only on the field, right, but off the field. He tweaked his calf today, so he just kind of sat down today, but we've seen him out there throwing football to Lazard and Garrett Wilson. But we're hearing about what he's doing off the field, sitting down, breaking film down, making sure that guys will really need to be, the attention to detail. Man, what are your thoughts about what we're seeing from Aaron Rodgers so far, just the leadership ability that he's showing doing things like that?
Yeah, I mean, Aaron's a football guy, man. I mean, that's his whole life. So he's going to enjoy this part of it. And I think as people get older, this is the part they really enjoy, the camaraderie, the team building, hanging out with guys, learning different things. And honestly, I would advise Zach Wilson to get boned up on every conspiracy theory he can find on YouTube. Like, ingratiate yourself with Rodgers. Kick those conversations off to where you become the little brother, and he teaches you a lot of the tricks he's learned, tricks he's learned in different things and ways things should be done. But, yeah, man, I think A-Rod is happy as hell, dude. I think this is the thing that makes him happy, hanging around those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, he's also talked about in the past about the Jets becoming the dragon and being, basically being the hunter now instead of being the hunted because of the acquisition of all the talent that we have and all the things. What are your thoughts about that, man? Do you feel like the Jets are prepared to be that hunter now with all the expectations and eyes on us?
Oh, you don't have a choice. We've seen this in the NFL year after year after year. You go back to the Vince Young super team stuff when he made that announcement. When you acquire a certain amount of talent in the NFL, you are expected, because this is the one league with so much parity that a little bit of talent can really shift the whole paradigm, that, the Jets have to ball out. Not only are you in the media capital and you have this superstar in Rodgers, but dude, do you know how much on my timeline Aaron Rodgers' little calf thing today